Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gad, your host. A viewer requested a birth natal chart analysis, so that's what we will be doing now. As you know, anyone who requests a natal chart analysis, they always get a free report. That free report totally explains astrology, on which everything is based in this third dimensional world we live. All the 12 houses of astrology. Extra stuff about kundalini's, chakras, tarot cards, which is the tarot cards. Displaying all the houses. So that's a free report people get. And videos on twin flames and things like that. That's all free. Alrighty, as you can see, his first house has become Capricorn, which deals with really was his 12th house, but they made it his first house because of the East Point EP and because of the Ascendant AC. The Ascendant is your rising sign. So when they ask him what is your Ascendant, what is your rising sign, it is Capricorn. And he's an old soul. You can tell by Capricorn. We'll talk more about that. Now, his first house first thing we want to do is Neptune and Capricorn. And this person may be the type of person that goes against the authority or goes against the established way of doing things. First thing we'll look at is Neptune and Capricorn. All right. Again, at 3 degrees. And at 21 is 3 degrees, 21 minutes. But it's still 3. Both of those are 3. 2, 1 is 3. And it is karmic because the 21 could be karmic. The world card, karmic. And they're dealing with Capricorn. Saturn, because the world card is Saturn energy. So you're dealing with karmic. So this is going to, like I said, anytime you see something in the 12th house, when I say they, I'm talking about the creators. I'm talking about the people that really set all this up. Whenever they set anything up in the 12th house, it's usually because this person has 2 timelines they're on in this life. They got a past life that they're dealing with, which represents the 12th house, and this life they're dealing with, which represents the first house. But they made the 12th house the first house. 13 degrees is the Scorpio energy, the destroyer card. And then 20 degrees at the AC is Pluto, which rules Scorpio. Now Pluto is the judgment. And 13 degrees is the death card, Scorpio. So again, you're dealing with death, resurrection. You're dealing with past life, present life, and it's also karmic. But now Neptune in Capricorn. Now, one thing you have to be careful of. See, the first house describes your personality. But see, Neptune, it can be deceptive. And then Capricorn could be all about business. But see, when you're all about business based on deception, that could be a problem. Because whenever you're dealing with any form of deception, there's always a threat that reality is going to come and blow that bubble all up. Kind of like when you look at people that like in a cult. You say, oh, they knocked on my door and they had on suits and they seem so caring and they seem so sincere about their Bible. It's not the Bible that we use. It's their Bible, but they said it still is like our Bible. And you see more and more deception. And like I said, you might team up with these people, and then at some point you and your family are all victimized by this religious cult based on deception. They're Capricornian in that they wear suits and look all serious and faithful to their word, but then the Bible is fake, the people are fake, the idealism is fake, and at some point, you or your family suffer the consequences of believing a whole bunch of bullshit. And that's what happened to me in the 1980s, some of the 1990s. So when you see Neptune in Capricorn, you have to be careful of the falsehood and the fakeism. Now this is myastrologybook.com. Neptune was in Capricorn right before the Civil War started. Again, Neptune is saying, hey, listen, we should be free. We're going against the reality of slavery, because that's what the Civil War, one of the things it was about. Capricorn represents the established way of doing things, but also represents the goat and is also the devil card in astrology. So remember what the great teacher Bobby Hemmett said, that really the devil is actually the liberator of the melanated people, the real people of God, the so-called real Bible Hebrews. And myastrologybook.com tells you that planet Pluto is the planet of these black people, represent the underworld. Your Bible calls it the darkness of God at Exodus 20:21, Luke 23:43-46. God is always associated with darkness in the Bible, represent these melanated people. They're the real biblical Hebrews. So before we go further, I'm not going to tell you the country this gentleman is from, but he is from Africa. So this is interesting. So I'll tell you what part of Africa. Just give me a moment. I actually just made a map the other day. So let's see, map will help me out here. Because I can shoot it out, but I don't want to. I'd rather be specific. Alright, give me a moment. You can basically say South Africa. Me personally, I've always resonated with East Africa, because that is a priestly class. North Africa was the kings, East Africa was the priest, and South Africa is associated a lot of times, believe it or not, with higher life forms, like what they call aliens and stuff. I'm talking about ancient South Africa. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. But those ancient so-called aliens are still connected. And this is why back then Africa was a mecca of such supernatural things going on. And even though they kind of lie to you in the Matrix, they make the Holy Land to be in the Middle East, or so-called. The bottom line was the real Holy Land bears testimony of being the Holy Land by the pyramids. Because the pyramids show you some type of science that still is not understood to these days. So that's your testimony of higher life form or angels or whoever or whatever they were. The testimony of a Holy Land is the pyramids. You got to remember that. And this is why the Messiah in the Bible is always associated with Egypt, which is Africa. In Matthew chapter 2, he's associated with Egypt. And in Revelation 11, he again is associated with Egypt. So that's why I said we try to wake people up with the wake up calls, but we just can only do what we can do, and then people have to believe what they have to believe. And the name I took for myself in 1995 was an East African name, I believe. Ajamo Owuduni. Ajamo Owuduni. Owuduni. He fights for what he wants, and it's nice to have money. And I took that name in 1990-ish, mid 1990s. And let me just look it up real quick. Ajamu Owuduni. Sometimes I say Dooney. And I could try to look it up, but I don't want to waste too much time. But I know it's either East African and South African, if I'm not mistaken. Cause I never ever. I always thought that's some bullshit. I ain't come from no West Africa. I never have ever believed that bullshit. I mean, they might have got some people of West, but you gotta remember everything they told us is a lie, man. Like they lied about everything, bro. All right, so now they're talking about a guy named Prince Badge Ajamu is a boxer. Prince was born on January 24th, 1972 in Camden, New Jersey. Camden is a roughnecks. You don't want to mess around with Camden. Ha ha. I'm New Jersey all day, boy. Alright, I'm gonna look at something real quick. Alright, what I'm gonna do, because they let you enter a name, and if you put your birthday in, they'll tell you something about your name. So just chill. I just want to do it real quick and see what they say. Now they don't want to do it. Let me see. Nah, they ain't do it. When I put the African name in, they did it. But when I put my name in, they ain't do it. Wasting my time. I'm gonna do it one more, but I'm gonna put a John Mo back in and see what happens. Nope, they do something totally different with the name. That's interesting. All right. So that's interesting. So now we're gonna put this gentleman's name in. I don't even know. Give me a moment, please. Gotta pull this up. All right. Now, where we're at, the first name, which is interesting, but I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about this gentleman's name, because I thought the first thing, but he does define as male, but that first name is feminine out here. But not only that, the end of his name is G-A, and I told y'all, whenever you see G-A, you're dealing with Gabriel energy. And see, Gabriel is androgynous, so that's why this gentleman has a name like that. He might not agree, but that is the reason why. So 78% of the people with that first name are female. And again, that's all they're going to give me. They don't give me the option to put his name in for anything else. But for Ajamu, they do. For Ajamu, I could look up the past life. And I would, but it's just that ain't my real. That's not my name I was born with. That's just the name I took. But let's do it anyway. I don't want to, but let's do it anyway. Let me see what happens when I put the whole name in. Will they let me do my past life if I put the whole name in? And they won't let me do it either. But when I put Ajamu in, once I put Ajamu in, they let me do the past life stuff and everything. They give me a whole lot of different information, a whole lot of stuff. And it's funny that the one guy they wrote down as a noted person with the name was born here in New Jersey. Alright, so we're going to do it again. they must have, because I put a new song on Reverb Nation because they was messing with me. So I did a quick song and threw it on there, and I didn't know if it even went, but they're rating me again because they weren't rating me before, and I'm sure it was higher when I first did it. Now let me see if you can hear it. Now they let you contact, and it says support at Reverb Nation. It used to be hard to get in contact with those people. All right, so now let's do this. See, they saying the same crap that they said the last time, so that's why I know this is bullshit. No, because I did somebody else and they said the same thing. That's why I don't do this stupid stuff. All right. Give me a second. Trying to get tiered. Check this out. I just need this search command. Here, good. All right. Jesus. All right. I know it sounds horrible, but I didn't know if they even put it on there. I was just putting it on there so they would rate me because they weren't rating me. Because I had some other stuff on here, but the music I had was challenging Christianity with Egyptology, so they wouldn't play it, and they wouldn't rank me. They wouldn't rank me into the Christian category because of the music, but the music was challenging their beliefs because their beliefs are fake. They're historically and everything fake. So I said, maybe let me just do a basic song and see if they put me back on there. And they did. Alright. Now we'll continue. Let me just look at my last name, see what they said. See, it keeps saying the same thing. You were a female in the past life. They say that for every name up in there and shit. Some fake ass shit. Alright. So it's obviously they fake. You can't take them seriously. And if y'all people applied the same principle to phony ass religion, you would be so much better. I believe in spirituality. I believe in spirit. But religion be lying through its teeth. Fake ass history. Fake everything. All right, so I believe we're looking at Neptune and Capricorn. So when Neptune is in Capricorn, you'll have things dissolving and things like rulership or ways of doing things or governments or boundaries or even philosophies that are like more about an authority controlling. And then what happens is you have more and more people with idealistic beliefs. And what happens is it's a fusion that takes place. See, Neptune causes rigid Saturn because Saturn rules Capricorn. It causes rigid Saturn Capricornian energy. They become fused with idealism. Like Russia When the walls came down, Russia was still Russia, but now Russia had McDonald's in it. Whereas before, Russia would have never had a McDonald's in Russia because McDonald's was at that time the epitome of capitalism. So Neptune in Capricorn causes an idea or idealism, Neptune, to take a form or structure, and that's what Capricorn does. It causes a form or a structure. What you're looking at is a form of alchemy. Let us make man. And then all of a sudden, this idea that was in the head of the gods, or the Elohim, because the Elohim means gods. Elohim does not mean God. So when it says in the beginning, the Elohim said, let us make man in our image, it wasn't God that said that. It was the Elohim. Even non-Nania tells you that. So I told you you were an old soul. So that's what they're saying. When you see Neptune in Capricorn, especially the arrangement you have, just like I said, these are advanced souls who incarnate now. And that would have been January 1984 through January 1998. And that's why they wrote the book 1984. See, these people know the secret knowledge, but they're not just going to come out and tell you, but they drop hints and drop hints and drop hints. And if you're doing your job, you'll begin to realize it and know it. Like now I speak from a position of this. It's just the way it is. I'm not looking for somebody to say, hey, you know, you're right. Or, hey, yeah, I studied it too and you're right. Because most people are not going to study. And most people are not going to agree with you. So you have to know and just move forward. Now, a person with Neptune and Capricorn, this could be a statesman, a stateswoman, an educator, healers, spiritual leaders. All right, so that's what you're looking at. East Point is the sun going over the ecliptic when you were born. The ascendant is the sun going over the horizon when you were born. But again, your Capricornian is going to be dealing with creativity, number 3, and that's through idealism. Death, 13 degrees, that's the East Point. Judgment, which is Scorpio energy. Judgment, which is Pluto energy, 20 degrees. But I just told you Pluto is the planet of the melanated people. So what you're actually going to be connected to is the resurrection of the melanated people. And in the Bible, these people are called Hebrews. Now, some people don't understand what I'm saying. So they think I'm saying like people that are walking around calling themselves black Hebrews and Hebrews Israelites. I'm talking about them. Not necessarily. I'm talking about the real people of promise who are melanated people. They have the same. When Adam says bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, these people have the same DNA or whatever. Because remember, Capricorn deals with bone structures and stuff like that. But these people have the same DNA as the Elohim, which we'll call the gods. And a lot of people interpret that to say God. But you could say these are God children, and when your Bible is talking about the sons and daughters of God, well, your Bible doesn't say daughters because of the Protestants primarily, but it says sons of God. So these would be those people. And they're also called sons of men at Psalms chapter 57, verse 4. So when Jesus was going son of man, he's talking about all of them. Just like when your Bible says Jesus is the Son of God, but there's many sons of God. Job chapter 1, Job chapter 2, and they're all connected to the stars. This is why the book of Job talks a lot about the star system. And there's also these people like Joshua, Joseph, Job. If you notice, all of them talk about the stars. Now at number 5 degree, you have Mars in Aquarius. Now what's funny right now is, first Mars was in Aquarius a few months back, and now Mars is in Taurus, because 5 degrees is Taurus energy. 5 degrees is Taurus energy. It is the Hierophant card, which is Taurus energy. So right now the universe is dealing with some type of Mars in Aquarius, and now Mars in Taurus. But I think it has a lot to do with touchy-feely. If you haven't heard it yet, listen to my full moon March 2019 video on this channel, because I totally explain it. But we are entering a feeling, we are entering a phase. I call it the Aquarian period. I don't call it the Aquarian age yet, but I do call it the Aquarian period, where a lot of Aquarian themes will be out there. And it will get to be kind of touchy-feely, and people who maybe couldn't find love the so-called traditional way will now be open to finding love the anti-traditional way. And when I mean traditional, I mean old school. I mean the Capricornian way, the way it used to be. Not saying it's right or wrong, because I'm not here to argue. Each person makes their choice, and I can respect that as long as my choice is also respected. And 5 degrees, Mars might challenge priests and spiritual people, because that's what happens when you have Mars in Taurus. A lot of times these people get challenged, as you're seeing in the news. But also Taurus has to deal with finances and a person's value system. So right away we're going to go into Mars in Aquarius. This website is called Astro Reveal. Never saw it before. So let's check it out. Astro Reveal. People with Mars and Aquarius possess an abundance of innovative mental energy and a burning passion for propagating progressive ideas based on the principles of freedom and equality. Now, I talk about all of this in the full moon video that will be loading on this channel today. So it should be here. Full moon March 2019. Forward-thinking reformists, often with revolutionary leanings. And see, the word revolutionary does not necessarily have to mean people with weapons or people saying whatever, black power or whatever. Revolutionary just means something that seems so outrageous, like something that just wouldn't happen. They may work to replace antiquated and oppressive social, political, or economic systems and more liberally enlightened models. So in his first house, you see him basically saying, listen here, Capricorn, we're about to change your standards. And then that's his first house. And in his second house, he's actually doing it, which means he's probably going to use his finances to that as well. So Mars and Aquarius people are always at the latest advancements. Like when Marvin Gaye sang, "Let's get it on, if the spirit moves you." So we all know Marvin Gaye was going both ways. Marvin Gaye was something like the predecessor to R. Kelly. Now we don't know if R. Kelly went gay like Marvin Gaye did, but one female said that R. Kelly did like that tool. He would let the female use the tool on him. So he still had that freak. And it's funny when I started talking about the gay, look what it said. It said Mars and Aquarius people are always at the forefront of the latest advances and resolutely determined to do things their own sweet way rather than follow traditional methods. And that's what they would always say about a guy that went the other way. They go, he a little sweet. Or he got a little sugar in his gas tank. Hey, listen, you can't get mad at me. I'm only speaking history. Nowadays, they got mad at one guy. All the guy said was, I'm heterosexual. And they started boycotting him. That's all he said. But these people like to work as a larger group or movement. And they want to bring about social or humanitarian changes. But they said some of these people get addicted just for sheer excitement. They really don't care. They really don't care about the movement and nothing like that. But they like the energy. They like to just be out there and be around the people and be a forefront. And they said some of these people with Mars and Aquarius, they won't necessarily want to commit. They'll be emotionally detached. And they'll have commitment phobias. Because remember, Aquarius likes his freedom. And that's why I laugh sometimes, because people say, listen, I got sick of dating men, the bullshit with men, so now I date a woman or whatever. But then they still got problems and shit. Like, they still break up and shit. So it makes me laugh. So Mars and Aquarius is going to fight for passionate personal rights, and they're very passionate. They don't like to have anybody giving them rules or telling them how to fall in. But if they're in a team, if the team agrees to do something, then they'll work with the team. If they respect it and believe in it. But that's not funny. What if they don't respect it or believe it? Then they're gonna keep on rebelling like they always do. Let's keep it 100. Uranus is a rebel. Uranus rules Mars. And they say these people can be highly motivated. Cause like if you ever studied history, the way the Nazis took over Germany was sheer brilliance. Sheer brilliance. Just like when the Russians invaded, when the communists invaded Russia, they called it the Blitzkrieg. But the Nazis based not like they didn't do it militarily, but all that propaganda and all that shit. The type of shit you saw Obama do, that shit the Nazis basically did that type of propagating and shit. And I guess some of the stuff with Trump, cause you got to make an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not really whatever. Like with Hitler was the gay guys, and some other they all became enemies, and it was the Jews, and before you know it, he had changed. The way he did it was just sheer brilliance, though. And then Hitler was like probably one of the best speakers in the history of speaking, because his speech would move you. But that's the power of a Taurus. Hitler was a Taurus. And that's what I'm saying about when they knock on your door. That cult I was talking about, especially way back in the 1980s, because that's when the world was still kind of innocent. In the 1980s, it's not innocent now. Not even a little kid will know if you're trying to like bullshit them or something. Even a little kid will be able to tell, like, oh no, and they won't listen to you. But back then, you had grown adults that you could blow some smoke up their ass and they'd follow it. So if you make if an Aquarius feels like and remember, that's the energy in that house. So he might say, well, that's not my sign. Yeah, but in that house, that is your sign. So in that house, you are an Aquarius with Mars retrograde. So if that person feels like you're pressuring them or whatever, then they're going to become even more resistive to you and then flexible. And that's why if a person's dating an Aquarius, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like the more you think you're going to pull it together and, you know, bring you two together and be a little bit more serious, if they feel like you're pressuring them, they're only going to more and more just do the opposite. So Mars in Aquarius is stubborn, and they don't back down from their position. But now Mars in Aquarius is also, like I told you, those are the priests. That's the Hierophant in the tarot card. That's card number 5. That's Taurus energy. So Mars and with the priest could also really be them being exposed, because Mars in Aquarius is also highly sexual, so they could be being exposed, and again sometimes they start fighting among themselves, just like when you see the mob guys and they start ratting each other out and all kind of crazy stuff. All right, now Jupiter, this is the 3rd house now. The house really of communications, still a brotherhood, but it's more like your brother and sister, siblings, young, not teenagers, but younger than teenager children, young education, the house of publishing, any form of publishing, written or speech or whatever, communications, multitasking, deep thinking, and it's travel as well, but it's short travel. And the 3rd house and the 5th house are the most creative houses on the 12 charts, and I'm pretty sure the 8th house is also creative. But you see Pisces there, so you already know it's going to be inspirational or spiritual. And the 3rd house, because of Pisces, is going to connect to the 12th house. And remember, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is in the 12th house. So your 3rd house is connected to the 12th house. Therefore, you have a Jupiter connection to your 12th house, which means you have a guardian angel. Don't know his name. I went looking for it. But anytime you have Jupiter in the 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces, that means you will always have money, especially if you're serving. If you're in service, you'll always have money. Now, again, Jupiter retrograde, really easy. It's going to challenge any philosophy, any thinking. Like you hear me doing it now. You hear me talking about religions and stuff like that. That's what Jupiter will do. Also, you got to watch your travel plans with a Jupiter retrograde, because Jupiter and Sagittarius deal with travel and long distance travel, and you could have your luggage get lost. So you might have problems with trouble or problem with vehicles. Also, your Jupiter is retrograde at 13 degrees, which once again shows you the death card, Scorpio energy. So you may have or will be misled by religion, but don't feel bad. It'll make you a better person. It definitely did for me. But that's why I say you get away from religion, and then you're more about spirit, and that's kind of like what you see going on in your 3rd house. Now look at this. Look at this. Your 4th house, a lot of aggression. Aries is there, a lot of aggression. So now your 4th house and your first house have a connection due to Aries energy, but your fourth house is about teenage to adult education, land, property, and real estate, your family and your ancestors, the heart, vehicles and travel. And again, you also have Imum Coeli. Now, your moon is not in your fourth house. Your moon is in your fifth house at 1 degree. But the moon rules the fourth house because the moon rules Cancer. And Cancer rules the fourth house. And the moon in Cancer, or however you want to say it, is Imum Coeli. Imum Coeli is whatever woman raised you when you were young, and she raised you as like a mother position. That's Imum Coeli. That woman will be in your subconscious mind the whole time you're alive on this planet. But again, you have some type of Aries aggression in the fourth house, either with family or any of those areas I just said. Ironically, again, you have 20 degrees. So 20 degrees is, again, the judgment card, which is Pluto energy. And that's, to me, that's the same thing as saying death and rebirth. Because a Pluto card can also mean transformation as well. Vesta at 6 degrees. Vesta is really a priestess. And she is for the family. But she deals with fire too. Because Aries is the fire sign. And Vesta also deals with fire. But generally speaking, she will deal with taking you into isolation if needed. And anywhere where you see Vesta, that means that's the area of your chart that you're spending too much energy in, and you have to slow down or you'll end up burning yourself out and having health problems. Now, your moon sign is Taurus at 1 degree, but be careful now, because 1 degree is the magician, and then you're working with the Taurus energy, which is the Hierophant. So once again, you're dealing with religious deception, because that's what the magician card does. He talks, and because he's got a gift, so he can make you believe whatever he's talking about. But that's like any religious person. Because, you know, you're not supposed to question the Bible, not supposed to question this, not supposed to question the priest, not supposed to question the elder. And you got to be honest, for years. That like what Michael did. Oh, I want your son to sleep with me. That's why I said, man, are you out of your mind? Why would I let my son sleep with some grown man in the same bed? What the fuck is up with this dude? But because it was Michael Jackson, oh, Michael, okay. Give me some money, Michael. Same thing with R. Kelly. Oh, go ahead, take my daughter. Just give me some money. So same with the Catholic priest. You got the altar boy. Oh, we're going to do a late nighter. Yeah, just your son's going to sleep over here. Oh, no, he'll be in his own bed. Nothing to worry about. I'll keep an eye on him. You better believe that. Bless you. So that's the deception. And they already tell you, when you study astrology, sometimes the moon can be the result of deception. Or fogginess. Or doubt. And that's why I say you have to be very careful with somebody dealing with a Neptune and Capricorn. And all this is deception. The external may look good and believable, but internally it's deception. Now, I was doing a chart for this guy for a long time. Not this person, but another person. A long time. And I said from day one. But the whole time he kept denying it. And denying it. And denying it. And that went on for a long, long time. Last time I did his chart, which is recently, I said, you know what? I'm not even going to do the natal chart. I'm not even going to analyze it. I don't analyze the natal chart 3 or 4 times. This time I'm doing all numerology. I did all numerology, and it still said he was holding back a lying. So I finally had to tell him, man, I think you lying. And then he finally came clean. So that's what I'm trying to say. You see on this chart, you see the same stuff. Now, 5th house, Taurus in the 5th house, just want to have fun. Sensuality, want to be massaged, want to touch, want to do everything sensual. Taurus is a very sensual sign. But in the 5th house, if this guy go out gambling, he blow all his money. He either going to win it all or blow it all. But even if he be winning it all, he'll still keep on taking chances and lose it anyway. Taurus in the 5th house is not good for money, especially with Aquarius in the second house, because this is a person that'll spend money on stuff that most people won't. And I mean, that's a good cause to try to help out the needy or help out, but when you're not conscious of the importance of money and how you got to make sure you can provide, you'll do that. You'll waste it. Even like I said, if you're in a religion, you say, "Oh, I believe God will get it back to me," and maybe He will, but sometimes you might have to wait, or maybe He doesn't. So you might have had money, but now you done gave it up because you thought God was going, "Well, I'll do this and God will bless me," and then what if it don't happen? Now you out of your cash. That's why you got to make sure you know your religious beliefs, because they're lying. They're lying to you when they talk about tithe and offering. No. Tithe and offering ended in the Old Testament. You're still supposed to give. You're supposed to be a cheerful giver, a happy giver, and you're supposed to give. But you don't have to tithe, because that would be they said anybody still trying to obey the law of Moses, then you're gonna die by the law. That's why we needed a Messiah. The Messiah freed us from the law, Sabbath and all that stuff, bro. All you gotta do real quick. But these people are so hard-headed, from 7-day Adventists, you name it, they're gonna do what they want to. But if you just read Matthew 28, that's all you gotta do. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. But people on planet Earth don't like it easy. Matthew 28. In the end of the Sabbath. Now keep in mind, the whole time Jesus was on earth, He never celebrated the Sabbath. Why? Because if you celebrate, if you obey one aspect of that law, you become constrained, obligated to obey all of it. And if you don't obey all of it, you will be hell-bound according to Scripture. So that's why Messiah came to save you from the depths of hell, by giving you grace instead of law. So in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn, in other words, as He's rising, we in grace now. We're in the age of grace. We're in the dawn of grace. He's raising out that grave. Ain't no more hell. Ain't no more going to hell because you broke the law. Unless you want to keep following like these people. And most of these people are misled by Freemasons anyway, to be honest with you. And begin to dawn toward the first day of the week. See, now it's a new day. It went from celebrating on a Saturday to celebrating on a Sunday, because He rose at the rising of the sun. And all let's go back to Egyptology with Ra. And if you knew about Horus, that would also be your liberator. That's why they get the word Horus from hero and Heru. First day of the week. And they did that on purpose, because a week is 7 days. So they're kind of laughing at you when they tell you first day of the week. In other words, this is the new beginning. This is the new dawn. It ain't no more 7th day Sabbath and all that, because that's your week, 7th day. Came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. In other words, death is dead. The law is dead. All that stuff is dead. Thanks to Messiah. Now, you could also study your Gnostics, and you see he never celebrated the Sabbath and the Gnostics either. You will find Christ and the Messiah celebrating the Sabbath during His lifetime. But yet people still tell you got to celebrate all that other crazy stuff. So you can either listen to the truth, or you can continue to believe the lie. But remember, there may be a hell price to pay for believing a lie. Your scriptures tell you thou shalt not lie. At 2 Timothy chapter 10, it tells you to cast that bullshit down. So you're supposed to be casting all these cults and all these lying ass people. Cast them down. But you say, oh no, because it's the Bible. Well, they got a fake ass, but that's not even a real Bible. So what are you talking about? But you're going to keep on going by what you think or what you were taught by really Europe. Even if you see a black preacher, he's still preaching some European garbage gospel. That's not the real gospel of the Bible. That's some European garbage. Just a fact. Study your history. Don't get mad. Study your history. And like when you know you're telling the truth, you don't worry about it. I don't worry about none of that shit. Because ultimately, God's going to have His way. Now, if you don't understand why we have a tone that I'm using, we already went over 12th house, Aquarius, Pisces. All this is spiritual stuff. Jupiter retrograde. All right, give me one moment. I just have to upload this video. I said, give me a moment. All right, I'm almost there. Almost there. All right, just gotta send this over by email, and then I'll be back. All right. All right. Now we'll continue. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ironically, it's this fifth house that you had the vertex cross. The vertex. Now, that is where you're going to have a significant meeting, a significant breakup, a significant event in your life, a fated event or destiny. And this can happen more than one time in your life. And it could be a soulmate or a twin soul meeting. Twin soul is twin flame. Same soul, same body. Soulmate is anybody that's in your soul family, but it's usually somebody you have some type of closer connection or relationship with. You can only have one twin soul, one twin flame. You could have many soulmates. Now you got the 13 degrees. So once again, this is a death card. But all in that Scorpio energy. And if you look to where your Scorpio is, there you got Venus again at 20 degrees. So that's that person. That's going to be your twin flame probably. Could also be your soulmate. Very high, going to be high sexuality, very sexual. Taurus can be very attractive people. Physical, attractive by energy, but also they can be very attractive looking. In fact, when you have a Taurus in the fifth house, that's a lot to do with athletes and sports and stuff. So they may even have nice bodies sports-wise. Main number you want to look at is the number 55. And it's funny because 555 and 55 are numbers that apply to Mother Mary. And see that moon connects to Mother Mary, but also there could be connections to Isis. Because really, any Madonna is always Isis. 55 is still independence, exploration, self-determination, freedom, and adventure. But that's a little strange. It's almost implying that this situation is going to fail because of a strong need for independence. But you've been kind of seeing that throughout the chart. Going into the 6th house, this is your home. 4th house is the family you were born into, but in later years it could also be your own family that you have. 6th house is the home, primarily your home in this life, but it could be the home you were born into as well. You got Chiron retrograde, which is the wounded healer. So you got some type of wound going on with Virgo and or Gemini energy at 21, and again that's karmic. That's the world card or the Saturn card or the Saturn energy. So it's a karmic situation. Your 6th house is about health, healing, service, the home, daily activities, daily duties, which could include your daily job from the 10th house. Small children, small animals. And you got Gemini there. So we already told you what Gemini is about in the 3rd house. But let's just look at Gemini in the 6th house. Yeah, it is a possibility. I'm not saying that it is, but you may have had or will have some type of relationship that was kind of like religious or spiritual, but there was questions or doubt that caused that to go its own way. Because you keep seeing it. That seems to be the reason why. Because if you look at your 3rd house, you look at your 5th house, keep saying 13, 13. And that's your death card. Going the own way. But sometimes death causes rebirth as well. Like I said, the best thing that happened to me was Psycho Dad brutally beat me. Because it taught me to not be afraid of anybody. I'll fight the biggest dude to the smallest dude. I could care less. And I'll go toe to toe. And being born into a psychotic or a psycho family, I know if your own family will do you dirty, I ain't trusting nobody. Not saying, now don't get me wrong, I can function with people, but I know, like this mob guy that just got shot to freak up. Listen, he was an old school mob guy, so he really believed that that's a rule. You don't kill mob bosses at their houses with their family. Who cares? Like nowadays, who gives a... If they want you dead, do you think they really care? If they really want you wiped out, this is what they're going to be saying. This guy never goes nowhere. That's the only time we can hit him. And they were so sure he was going to come outside. That's how they knew him pretty good. Because they back a truck up into his car. And make sure it's real loud. So he had to hear it. So because he heard the noise, he comes out. Now, there's no way in the world I'm a mob guy. First off, where's the security? This guy didn't even think he needed security. I mean, that's a little overconfident. Where's the security? Second off, somebody just hit your car. Why do you think this is a hit? So he goes out by himself. And as fast as they started talking, that guy whipped out that gun, fired, they say 12 shots, and 6 of them hit this guy and killed him. But that shows this guy had no clue. And you got to understand my point. You're a mob guy. You know about people getting killed all the time. How could you be so naive? Soon as I heard that hit, I would have said, uh-oh, this is strange. And if I would have went out there, I would have went out there with some type of gun. But see, I'm not stupid. If I got no security, I'm not going out there. You know it's a hit. You're walking into your own death. Who does that? Apparently mob guys that think that it's safe. Ain't nothing safe. You're in a very violent business. Nothing's safe. But I'm saying that's what happens when you have idealistic thinking. You think it ain't safe. This is what I'm trying to tell anybody that's listening. You can believe that religious bullshit if you want, but you're betting your life on it. Your next step is based on that. If it's bullshit, guess where you're going? And that's coming straight out of your Bible words of the Messiah. But people think, oh, I'm a good person, or I believe the Bible. But you better make sure, how can you prove what you believe? Because you best believe, when you take your car to the mechanic, you make sure you double check. That's why you double check to see if your car, if you really change your oil, you double check and stuff like that. But then when it comes to the Bible, you just go, oh, I'm a good person, I just believe. But anywhere else, just like if you got direct deposit, you still gonna check. You don't just go, oh, I just believe it's there. Because I'm sure any of y'all did that. I'm sure at least one time in your lifetime, that shit fucked you over. Oh, it's there every Friday. But you don't check. So you go ahead, write bills, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Money ain't even there on Friday. For some reason, they get there on Friday. And now your shit is fucked. Now they're trying to charge you $35 for everything that bounce. Every time something bounce, 35, 35, 35, 35. But that's because you have some silly belief that, oh, I know it's going to be in there. Look, this world ain't perfect. People ain't perfect. And they may have meant to get it there on time, but they didn't. You got to check everything out. That's why dudes like me, and they even say he had a video system and he had a video system and everything. Because you remember the movie Scarface. Scarface had all that video equipment and all that. But even then, that couldn't save him. But in his case, he had his own code. That's what made him a very, very unique gangster. Because he had his own code. But that's what got him killed. But you got to give him credit. You thought he was a ruthless killer and junk, but he wouldn't kill a kid. And that's what got him in trouble with the criminal organization he was affiliated with. Because it was essential that that guy didn't testify, and they told him, you better not fuck this up. And he would not kill that kid. So whoever wrote that movie, that was sheer brilliance. That was probably some of the best writing you could ever do. Because that's how life is, whether you know it or not. The most ruthless killer in a movie wouldn't kill a kid. And that's what got him in trouble and brought his whole whatever that is. So they said the same thing I said in the full moon video. They said, like, the people that are experts on the mob, they said you don't kill a man at his own house in front of his family. That's a mob rule. They said that was to make some type of statement or a message. But they just don't know what the statement or the message was. And I basically gave it to you already. But we'll see. But sometimes if you want somebody bad enough, and I'm going to tell you something else they probably did too. That's probably not the first time they were seeing if he would come out. Probably before they made some noise to see if he would come out. They might not have hit his car or something, but they did something to see if he would come out. Because he lived in a quiet-ass neighborhood. And he probably came out that time. And they said, he's stupid. He'll come out by himself. He's an idiot. And they just set it up. Like, the mob is grimy, bro. Like dudes like me, we just know shit. Like I say, we just know they just grimy. Like, at the end of the day, it's all about cash. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, I'm sure it's people that got honor within it. But it's changed a lot since, like, the 60s and the 70s and shit. It's grimy. Even John Gotti, like, he's respected by a lot of people. But you got to understand, he was selling drugs when he wasn't supposed to. It used to be a mob rule, like, no drugs whatsoever. Like, later on, some people said, okay, we won't use them, but we'll sell them to the black people. That's what they were doing. But before, it was supposed to be no drugs whatsoever, because the bigger bosses, like the elders, they knew that the guys were going to start using it, and it's going to bring our whole organization down. And that's what happened. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a grimy business. Whenever you're dealing with any form of greed, you have to be careful. Because even people underneath you will take you out. If they see a reason for it. If they see a way they can get past you to your connect and all that. That's it. And essentially, it's business as usual. When you go down, it's over. You're gone, and it's business as usual. Somebody will stand up, and they'll just keep on going. It's a dirty business. Like I kind of respect that guy that he obviously wasn't paranoid, but he should have been. It's a dirty business. All right. Oh, I was looking at the number. Yeah, we did number 55. Now we did Gemini. Okay, Gemini in the sixth house. So he's saying your daily activities have to do with gathering information, exchanging information and ideas. So they say this person has got to not run themselves in the ground because it's just service minded, and they're like multitasking service minded people, and they're telling this person be careful because you can run yourself in the ground because of it. But remember, you got Chiron, the wounded healer. So there's some type of wound that he has because of either Gemini energy or Sagittarius energy. And when you look at his Sagittarius, you see Juno right there, because Juno is going to be a serious relationship. So this should be a person who's really using information communications as a service to others. But like I said, he might even use his home for the brotherhood, the community around him. Might also be something going on in his home regarding younger education. But this could be his home or the home he was born into. And when I say the home he was born into, that's why I said you have to realize when you're dealing with astrology, you're dealing with spirit, and you can't be so technical. Because whether it was his home or somebody's house, sometimes you're over somebody else's house almost as much as you're over your own. So it could be talking about either one of those houses, but maybe that house. All right. So remember, he has some type of wound that has not healed yet with either Gemini energy which would be the third house, or Virgo energy, wherever you see Virgo at on the chart. And also it's at 21 degrees, so that would be your Saturn energy. And if you notice where his Saturn is, there is Juno. Where his Virgo is, Virgo's in the 9th house, and then that's ruled by Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is right there with Juno. So that's what they're talking about. They're talking about that Sagittarius energy, which we'll take a look at when we get there. Okay, now the 7th house is relationship. So his family, because I already told you it's in the 4th house ruled by Cancer. Because Cancer rules the 4th house, so we don't have to go over that again. But the 7th house is ruled by Libra. This is relationships, business partnerships, contracts, agreements. Open enemies, justice, courthouses, the law. And so your 7th house of relationships is associated with your viewpoint of family, connection to family, and everything I said is in the 4th house. Now 27 degrees is a diplomat. This is the person that's really going to go out of his way to keep all these things at a progressively moving forward level. Eighth house Leo. Now you got a free report that's going to explain everything in your 8th house, because it's a lot of stuff, and to read that takes a lot of time. And you got to remember, I'm reading a whole lot of stuff, but all that stuff is not going to apply to any one person. So that's why you should have your own report. But either way, Leo in the 8th house. Leo is a bold one. And you're dealing with a problem, children, playful emotions. And Leo tries to take leadership, but sometimes he's not going to be allowed to. And Leo's still about fun. It could be sexuality, because the 8th house could be highly sexual. It could be about sexuality. And remember, Leo rules the 5th house, and that's where your Taurus is. We know that's pretty much about high sexuality. So those two are kind of connected in that regard. Next house is Virgo in the 9th house. Now, since Virgo represents the home, this could be foreign home or foreign family. And the 9th house also deals with your in-laws. And again, doesn't matter whether you're married or not. The family of somebody you're interested in, that would be considered like your in-laws when dealing with astrology. But the 9th house is also higher laws, higher courts, long distance travel, philosophy, religion. And again, Virgo, whatever I said about your 6th house now goes into the 9th house. And Virgo's about healing and service, young children, animals, daily activity. And this is in the 6th house too. Daily activity, co-workers or subordinates. All going on in the 9th house. And you'll learn more about that when you get to the other side. Now going into your 10th house. Again, the 10th house now, your medium coeli, who works with your true north node. See, your 4th house, 1st house, and 10th house are all dealing with Capricornian energy. And you got Libra there. So this could be some type of business partnership. Of everything I read in the 7th house ruled by Libra. Could be some type of law situation. And Libra being your sun sign. So you're kind of dealing with Mayat. And so you got to understand how Mayat works. In Egypt, you had Mayat. When a person died, they would be brought before Mayat, and she would have the person's hand. She would have the person's heart in one of her hands, and her feather from her head, from her headdress, I guess, in the other. Now, if that person, if their heart was lighter than the feather in Mayat's right hand, that person will be allowed into what we call heaven. They might have called it something else, the land of the gods, or whatever they called it. But if that person's heart was heavier than Mayat's feather in her right hand, that's where you got the beast from. It would be this big beast, looked like some type of alligator or crocodile and lion. It was all these things. And that's where they got the whole idea of the beast from in your Bible, and the devil, because that person will be en route to what we call hell. So a lot of people don't know that their career is that kind of gateway. That's why you got fired and stuff like, because fire is hell. And they say Capricorn is the devil, the goat, Baphomet, and then Saturn rules Capricorn, and Saturn is Satan. See, all this stuff is Egyptology. So that's how you know your relationship is karmic. And that's why they put it in the 10th house. And again, probably dealing with many past lives. And so medium coeli, once again, your true north node is 20 degrees. That's Pluto or Gabriel and its judgment. And then medium coeli works with your true north node. And medium coeli is 15 degrees or Capricorn. So with the number 24, now 24 is called the return or the turning point. But remember, because Libra is there, it's a judgment. Like I said, I worked at a job where the boss's name was Damien. And Damien is the name of the devil, or the devil child in the Omen. And then when because see, two guys hired me where I work at now. You got the boss and you got the second in command. The second in command really wanted to hire me, so the boss did it primarily because of him. But that was the first thing I said to my boss when I first looked at him. I said, "You look like my previous boss." See, because I got the shaft because my twin flame lied on me at the boss. So that's what I mean by all this shit we going through. We just don't see it, but it's higher shit going on. And so what I'm trying to tell you is, since I got unjustly fired, I was owed that. So now I got a boss who hired me that looks like the other boss. And in the early days, he had to put up with a lot of my bullshit because I was just mad. And I was out there. But he put up with it. But at the same time, like 2 of my paychecks from the early days, some bullshit happened that I never got that money and still don't have it. It's still with New Jersey took those people to Superior Court, but that's going to take a long time. But there may have been a reason why that money had to be taken, because I believe it all has to do with what happened to 2014 to 2016, and that's why this boss now looks like that boss, because he had a universal obligation to correct what happened to me at the other job, because I shouldn't have been terminated. The broad was lying through her teeth. Now it's my twin flame. So y'all don't understand about like how the universe works. So in order to not find my twin guilty, they had to like do something. Like I had to get my job back and whatever. Because otherwise, like I even told her that, like right before I got fired, I told her, all this line, everything she did, that's bad karma. And see, I have relatives that went to early graves for stupid stuff like that. See, what y'all don't understand, I'm gonna say it again. They tell you where you're at. You're in a democracy. If you're in this country, they call it a democracy. When you start looking at stuff, you start asking questions. Why are all these pyramids on our money and all that? See, you start waking up. But that's why I tried to give you a fake Bible, a fake definition, fake interpretation of the Bible. And if you don't know the truth, you won't be liberated. The truth will make you free. But if you want to fake this, fake that, then you still are. No matter how much you tell everybody I'm a good person, I help the poor and all that, you fake. Your belief system is fake. Which means that God has every right to say, Matthew chapter 7, get away from me. I don't know you. So you better be glad people like me be praying and doing everything we can do. So in his 10th house, that's really what you have here. It's the showdown. And 24, like I said, it's the turning point. It's the return. And return could be that might be why will you meet this person or re-meet this person. It's in a return cycle that the very heart of the workings of heaven and earth become apparent. Now I told you, the mother sits on the throne, and her throne is heaven and hell where she sits. And that's basically what he just said. He just said heaven and earth instead of saying heaven and hell. And in the Bible, the return is also associated with the betrayal. And why is it? Because if God allowed, say, a certain people to rule over his people, there comes a time when God is going to restore or return his people to their original spot. Which means he's got to betray the other people who he let rule over his people. He already did it to Babylon to Babylon in the Bible. He's getting ready to do it again. So you can see that this return has to do with justice. You took a certain amount, you got to give a certain amount back. You took into captivity, now you must go into captivity. But that captivity they're talking about in Revelation 13, I believe, is hell. So that's the return. And then somebody said that on December 24th, the Christian endures the longest, darkest night of the year. But then the following day, allegedly, they honor the birth of the Savior, who's really Horus. And all that December stuff is Saturnalia, or Satan, Saturn. But if you really understand the esoterics of where you really are, Saturn is like the big boss. In fact, Saturn used to be the real sun of this planet. So that's the best way to explain it to you. And Palace is always associated with twin flames or soulmates. And the 11th card is yeah, in this case, the tarot card number 11 is a justice card. That's how you know what I'm talking about. So your place of appointment, it's almost like you're going before the judge. And I just told you, like back in the day, Saturn was the sun of this whatever we in. So that medium Coeli represents that. And 15 degrees represents Capricorn. But if it's Capricorn, Capricorn's boss is Saturn. And this is the 10th house where Capricorn rules, and Saturn rules Capricorn. And then you got the sun right next to it. So that should tell you something right there. And remember, you're affiliated with living many past lives, which means you have a serious connection to Capricorn and Saturn. So now this life, the person you're with, y'all are both under that judgment. That's why y'all see 20. Now, that doesn't mean a bad thing, but judgment means you're being watched and stuff like that. And that's why I said people are silly on this planet. They're very silly. Like mine, like we could have had a great twin flames relationship. It would have been a lot of power. I think it would have been awesome. But she was on a typical dumbed down female and third dimensional over in this country type shit. And I was on some no nonsense shit because I just didn't want it no more. It was always some type of silly shit. And I believe like I grew up to be a man. I didn't grow up to keep on doing shit I did 10, 20, 30 years ago. And I'm not going to keep falling back for something that ain't going to be loyal to me. I just grew up. So she thought she could do what most people do, rebel, cause problems, lie, and do all that. But she didn't understand she was being judged. She was being weighed. And just like you're given temptation. But that's how you know a person ain't shit. Because you're coming to work looking at me, but then you go on and you diving in bed with this dude. Then you're coming to work looking at me with the crazy eyes, is like when you be seeing like them books when they be drawing a female. Like some of the books Jehovah's Witnesses do, and they'll draw Babylon the Great, and you look at her eyes, she just look like a total slut. So this chick is coming to work every day looking at me with those eyes and stuff. Like, I could, this could be you. Yeah, but you're telling me you have no character. And ultimately, I knew what was going to happen. You giving that dude way too much. He's going to bang you out, bang you out, bang you out. Never put a ring on your finger. You have all his kids, and you ain't going to be with him no more. And I think pretty much that's what happened. Or she's one of these chicks in these broken down relationships where they still looking for somebody else, even though they still messing around with baby's daddy, but they really still looking for somebody else. So it's just the dumbed down stuff in third dimensional. And people get mad at me for telling the truth, but they don't realize that you playing with your soul. And that soul gonna be burning in hell. There's a reason why you got that fire, which is the sun, right next to that 15. And you see 20 all over the chart. That's judgment. So what I'm saying is the universe gives people a chance to get together and repent and take this shit seriously. Because the moment you take this shit seriously, you start saying, listen, let me be with my twin if that's what it's meant to be. You don't go through all that silly stuff. Twin flame separation, hurting your twin, and your twin ain't never did nothing to you, but you still gonna hurt him anyway. And just crazy shit. And don't get me wrong, like maybe in the past life, your twin might have hurt you. But you still got to remember that was a past life. You're being given an opportunity to work through that. But most people are too weak, too afraid, and too vindictive. So they keep going back to hurting and separation and sleeping around and all that. But they're playing with their eternal destination. And if you were just going to die and just be eternally dead, that's one thing. But this is eternal damnation, eternal torture, eternal rape, eternal whatever they want to do to you. And you never coming out of it. So that's really the real reason Libra's in your 10th house. Now they may give some other type of say career in relationships or cause that's your 10th house is your career house, career in relationships or career in marriage or marriage counseling and some stuff. But that's the basic meaning. Now somebody might ask, well, what can a person do regarding all the stuff you're saying? Like I said, people should really try to find out about twin flame and take it seriously. But like I said, people don't want to take it seriously, and they don't want to believe it. And then most of these people, they just think if I don't believe it, it's not going to happen. That's just stupid. You best believe if that dude could be brought back to life, he would realize how foolish he was. You're a mob boss. Where's your security? He really believed that. Oh, nobody would shoot. It's against the rules. Like these people don't care nothing about no damn rules. They're fucking criminals. Murderers and when the hell did murderers and criminals give a fuck about somebody's role? If it's time for you to get whacked, you're gonna get whacked. Like give a fuck. You better be glad you came outside and then calls them to come up to your door. So that's how it is. You got to try to work and this and that. Now there's people out here called twin flame era, and they finally got together because first the guy started waking up and realizing that she was his twin and she didn't believe him, and he was telling her she ain't want nothing to do with it, and then she started having dreams and stuff. And they finally got together. But what they were missing, once you get together, y'all got to really commit. Like y'all can't just move in. Like this is difficult. So it's not like y'all gotta like go out, maybe find a way to loosen up, like watch comedy or go out, go to a funny movie. But y'all gotta start spending time together. And it's not gonna in the early days, it's not gonna flow correctly. So that's why like somebody said, well, when I hold his hand, it just doesn't feel right. It's not gonna feel right in the early days. Because this is something that's being thrown on you. But when you start to give in, just like anything, whenever you're working with the universe or spirit, the more you give in, the more you get back. But what's happening is you're fighting. Because you're letting your will, you're letting your physical say, oh no, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know. Maybe he's not my twin. I don't know. And you just keep fighting it. And that's why people go into separate. Like I said, it was somebody like, they kept putting me with this person over and over again. And she, like my twin, now her, I know she should have knew. She had the same dreams I had. I mean, she's like, the person I just got finished working with was my soulmate. She don't work there no more. Same thing, she knew. So these are people that knew and they still continue with the silly shit. And somehow they think the guy is supposed to do it. Guy can't do everything. That's why I said I used to be one of them dudes that did everything. But what for? They still not going to do their part. So no matter what, it's still going to go into separation. Like I see things differently. I don't just be sleeping. I'm not a hoe. I'm not just sleeping with anybody. I'm funny about who I touch. I'm real funny. I come from a very violent background. I'm very funny. There's people in my own family I wish they keep their hands off me. My brother made the mistake of thinking he could just grab me. I threatened his life. If you ever put your hands on me, you'll die that same day. So I'm not one of these game players. Like I said, I'm not here for this. Like what y'all see me doing, that's what I'm here for. I preach, I show people, I wake people up. But I'm not here to dumb down. I'm not here to act like I'm 13. I'm a grown-ass man. So all I can do is bring myself in harmony with the universe. Now, if I know anybody, just like I got my soulmate, I kept trying to talk to her. Every time I tried to talk to her, she wanted to play hard to get. And then she did the same thing that my twin did. Then once I said, this is stupid, and move away from it, now she's following me all around, following me around, all this silly stuff. But if I'm trying to talk, everything you do like reverse psychology. So that's the silliness in 3rd dimension. So that's why I said that's why you end up meeting the person at the job and stuff. A lot of time it's a judgment. It's an opportunity. Even on my chart in the 9th house, Saturn is there. Now remember, Saturn rules Capricorn, and medium Coeli is in the 9th house with Aquarius. But that's still giving you a 10th house underlying information. So that's why I say he was brought into the 10th house to try to get it worked out. And unfortunately, because of her game plan and being somewhat of an a-hole, it never got worked out. Even though I went out of my way to talk to her and try to reach her and stuff like that. And a lot of people think, well, if you took a different approach, it would have worked. And you know what? I agree, it might have. But unfortunately, it is, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Somebody saying they want unconditional love. Then why are they making conditions? So it just shows how messed up people be in their thinking, their reasoning, and stuff like that. And that's why I say no matter who that person ends up with, they never gonna. As long as you like vain and you always try to make it about you, it's never gonna work. No matter who you're with, and that's why you see it just keeps failing. But the people on this planet are so dumbed down, they don't think about it. They just get mad at people like me for telling the truth. So these are people that are messing with their eternal destination over some dumb shit. And that's why they call it like a dumb democracy. You're being dumbed down by demons and you're willfully accepting. So the basic definition of Libra in the 10th house is you have a partner, and your career and reputation is defined by being a partner and stuff like that. But I just showed you through the numerology and everything I said what it's really about. All right, now 11th house. This is the Aquarius house. Now we were talking about Aquarius going all the way back to the 2nd, and we were talking about freedom and stuff like that. Once again, Pluto's going to be great transformation, which could involve sex, but it's great. Mercury is communication. And notice how your Venus, again, 20 degrees of the judgment of Pluto, and 15 takes you right back to where we just left, the Capricorn energy. And that Capricorn energy is representing coming before hell with the goat of Baphomet, just like the tarot card shows you, or Saturn or Satan. And now, if that was just Venus in Scorpio, that would have to do with deep love and, supernatural stuff. All that stuff that's on your full report about the 8th house ruled by Scorpio. But this is a Venus retrograde, and that's what's going to be the problem. But see, understanding that's a Venus retrograde may help you understand why it's a judgment situation. So we're gonna study what Venus retrograde means. But like I said, if people stop with the silly stuff, because like I said, once they moved in, they just didn't focus. And I guess she was trying, because his name was Josh, her name was Renee, and they was called Twin Flame Era. And I guess Josh, because he was like a sensitive child or something like that, so he didn't really move like say an average guy. If you watch Josh, even the way he's set, because like I said, there's people on this planet that are not really from this planet, you could tell. And I guess that kind of, wasn't attracted to her. But it became that far, and that's why I be trying to tell. Like, it's just a lot of hypocrisy with humans. Because you'll take a female, and she'll go out of her way to be sexy to the world, because she's going outside with whatever she's wearing or whatever she's doing. But then you take the same female, and you put her in a situation that's universal, meant to be. This is your same soul, different body. And then all of a sudden she's stagnant. Like she don't know what to do. So that's why I say I'm out here every day trying to help. But that's the one recurring theme you see. It's like a game to people. And they really don't, they don't understand it or they don't believe it. They don't think this is going to have nothing to do with their afterlife, like where they're going from here. Like they don't think it has nothing to do with hell and all that. Even though when you do your natal chart, you're using words like the underworld or Pluto, the god of Hades and stuff like that. So you see it right there. But they talk about it like it's just mythology. No, this shit's real. This shit is realer than this bullshit. This shit I tell y'all is realer than this shit y'all believe. This because this stuff y'all really believe that y'all willing to sacrifice your lives for. This is bullshit. All this shit is like somebody on a 3rd grade level. Is actually like a freaking joke. That most people are that dumbed down. And the devil's laughing at you saying, man, them people don't even think. It's easy to overthrow them. All right. We're coming down to the conclusion. All right, about to do the... All right. Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde focuses on romantic relationships and intimate emotions. Suppressed feelings may come to the surface, and you may find new ways to express them. So that might be what's going on in your 11th house. And your 11th house is dealing with Aquarius. But the 11th house deals with friends, association, and groups. Aquarius age is a age or the house of helping other people, but it's also the house of information, technology, and Aquarius's motto is "I know." So some people say the age of Aquarius will be when everything gets better. We won't be on this dumbed down, almost like animalistic frequency and things of that nature. So that's all going on. Now Venus is going to be dealing with repressed feelings. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to get everything together. So during this time, people reevaluate what they want from life and those around them. They may also seek new desires elsewhere. Now, let me look at that house again before I go further. 20 degrees again, the judgment card, Pluto. And that is all about endings and doing things a different way, or even coming to a revelation. And that's in Venus retrograde, which is then it's also 15, which is again taking you back to your 10th house, Capricorn, any area, anywhere where you see Capricorn. So you're kind of almost going to have some type of a judgment revelation moment with Capricorn energy. So you can remember that if you can. Your Mercury at 18 degrees is the moon. Again, moon deals with, like we said, and that's opposite your 5th house. And the moon is right there with 1 degree of deception. So these are the reasons why. And then Pluto is a transformation with Scorpio, but that means that's going to be an intense house. Your 11th house with Aquarius energy is going to be an intense house. And that's why I said you have to make it your business to learn more and more in your 8th house and how your 8th house applies to you. And that's on a free report that you have. And again, Pluto rules what? The underworld. The 8th house, and your 8th house is, wow, Virgo, your home. So your literal home may deal with this. And that's why I say even with your home has Gemini, and that's the communication. With the world card. And what's unique about the world card, because that's 21 degrees is the world card. The world card is like the wheel card. It has those animals and stuff on it, and those animals are taken right out the Holy Bible. Those four beasts, 4 animals. So that's how deep it gets. And that's why I say this is nothing to play with. And the more you realize who you really are, I mean, third dimensional is good, but I personally don't want to still be doing shit that I did in 3rd grade and 5th grade and 7th grade, or even high school, and I'm a grown-ass man. And for some reason on this planet, that seems to be the norm, at least from where I'm at. Some people literally do the same shit they did when they was like 3 years, 5 years old, and 10 years old, and 12, and 15. They do the same shit. Even if you're stuck on video games, that's the same shit we was doing back in the day before there was video games. Playing all day long and stuff like that. Like, you're on a planet where people they have no qualm with being dumbed down. No qualm. And they can believe anything on television. They're telling you lies that affect how you view life. But people love it. And you'll have a real person who really did stuff come out. He'll get no respect, no whatever. You'll get some fake ass come out lying about everything, and they'll have all these views and shit. So it just shows you how everybody's cool with just being dumbed down. But I do believe it'll be a price to pay for that. Because you got to remember, that's how Rome died, Babylon. All these nations fell because they all got dumbed down. And they were almost like animalistic. Like they said, let's eat, drink, for tomorrow we die. Which, like, let's party, for tomorrow we die. And in the Bible, same thing. Moses helped liberate those people out of Egypt. As soon as they got in the wilderness, first thing they did, as soon as Moses went up to the presence of God, they're down there talking about let's party, and started worshiping a fake idol, and then they're having sex and partying. Same stuff people do now. That's why I said if you really study the Bible, you'll see how real it is. Because it's the same low-level dumb stuff people do now. The exact same stupid stuff. So that's why I say once you do begin to wake up, you realize you have to ascend. Even if it means, distancing yourself. You don't have to totally cut people off, but you have to begin to distance yourself. So during this time of a Venus retrograde, see, that's similar to your Jupiter retrograde. A person's value systems might come into question. Things we valued most before become unimportant. Things we disagreed with before, now all of a sudden, doesn't seem so bad. All of a sudden, with a Venus retrograde, you're viewing friendships, love, intimacy, and even spiritual beliefs. And again, that's in the third house, and that is Aquarius. Friendships, friendship, people, places, organizations, friends. Family could be thrown up in there too. And what these organizations believe as well. That's why I said, when they first knock on your door, let's just say you're just going through a hard time. Maybe you try to be a good whatever boyfriend or girlfriend, and that person just hurt you really bad. And you're looking at life, you're trying to watch the news, it's just bad news. And you're starting to wonder, why am I here? Why are we here? Does God even care about me? Why does God let the world go on? And you're just going, and then these people knock on your door. And they look so clean cut, and they seem so sincere, and they really seem to know that Bible. And if you're the type of person that asks a lot of questions or something, they might even bring you their elder. So now you're saying, oh, wow, they even brought me an elder. Why, they really care about what I believe. Oh, they want me to come there a little, and then you start going. So that stuff will work for a while, as long as it's not tested. And once you get in the cult, they do brainwash you, because you can't look at nobody else's Bible. You can't talk to people. They separate you from your family. They'll try to disassociate you from talking to your own family. Now, who the hell does that? Who the hell does? They're going to disassociate or disfellowship you for talking to your own family, your own blood. Who does that? I don't even know if the Nazis was that cruel. The Nazis just took you all and threw you in one location. They didn't care if you talked. They just threw you in a location, spray painted you a certain color, and you stayed back there. You can talk all you want, but if you try to escape, we're going to shoot you in your fucking back. But at least they let you talk to your family, I think. If they didn't kill you first. But these people, you can't even talk to your own family. So it's a freaking cult. But what I'm trying to tell you is they caught you at a time when you weren't thinking. But what happens with a Venus retrograde, you begin to think about all these things. You begin to realize, this is some bullshit, this is some bullshit, this is a cult. And you start to study. Nowadays on YouTube, you can get all the information you need. Any information you need now is online. That's why I tell people quick. For their own benefit. Because sometimes I get people want to ask me a billion questions. No, what you need to do is learn how to just use a search engine and study. Because me telling you your answers is not going to help you. You got to want it. So now if you have Venus retrograde in your chart, you may have had some relationship issues to overcome in this lifetime or in a past life. Because a retrograde can sometimes mean a past life. So you might have relationship problems in a past life or in this life as well. Either or. But we've already established that in going through your chart. It's likely that in a past incarnation that you felt inhibited or restrained, and that stopped you from seeking what you really wanted in life. There were probably external forces beyond your control to keep you and your lover apart, in either the same past life or another that's also influencing your current life embodiment. Therefore, you may have never learned how to conduct a mature, productive relationship in this lifetime. Today, you probably find it hard to fulfill your dreams or desires from the people who are close to you. You may have difficulty connecting with your mate and sustaining intimate relationships with friends. You may also seek fulfillment from your partner, but that always seems to come up short. Some of this influence that applies to emotional matters can also apply to financial issues as well. Especially in today's society where we place personal happiness and financial security hand in hand. So you may never quite feel that you have enough in your pockets, and therefore your self-worth can become a personal issue for you. To overcome these lessons of relationships in this life, try to focus on what you really want in a relationship and consider your choice of partners carefully. Good advice for everyone, but especially for those with Venus retrograde. But remember, happiness cannot be created by taking it from others. Only you can make yourself happy. So look within yourself and ponder what you give back to your partner and those you are close to as well. And it's funny, all this is going on in your 11th house with Aquarius, and Aquarius is in your 2nd house, and that is your money house. So whatever I said about Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, remember, this is your money house. Friends, association, groups. Your 2nd house is possessions, finances, and your value system. So somehow that's linking up with your friends, association, and groups because of Aquarius. So watch your money, because that's why I said people can use anything, even religion, to take you out of your money. Like I said, the whole tithing and offering and all that. Oh, you got to give money to the pastor and give the money to the pastor's wife, anniversary. They got it. And I see a guy doing that on YouTube. All he does is milk money. You got to give him credit though. He's milking the hell out of his followers. Built him, rebuilt his where he stays at, rebuilt him his own. He's really milking the hell out of him. And that's the funny thing with that false gospel. That's where they might be going anyway. Really, to keep uplifting these enemies of God's real people, the synagogue of Satan, to keep uplifting them, that definitely can't be a God-approved gospel. But most people don't care what the word of God really says. They follow humans. And that's how stupid they are. As long as their favorite human is saying what he thinks the Bible means, They'll follow the human, but they won't follow the book. These people are just stupid and get mad because I tell them the truth. Finally, your 12th house. We're at 2 minutes, 2 hours, 6 minutes. But I need you to listen up because I'm going to really read the 12th house. And then we're still going to go in. All right, let me see. Okay, I don't think we I'm looking at a couple of things. One is the astrology zone. I don't know if we're going to do that one. AstrologyZodiacSigns.com. Let's check that out. AstrologyZodiacSigns.com. Let's check that one out. And then astrology.com, which I don't use that much either. Now I'm just going to look all these over and see which one we're going to pick. I would strongly advise people to listen to this one. This is astrologyzone.com. The 12th house rules the subconscious mind, dreams, intuition, instinct, and secrets. In fact, it dominates all that's hidden, including activities going on behind the scenes and confidential engagements. Psychotherapy and psychic phenomena both fall under this house as part of its rule over the subconscious mind. Dynamic acting on this house can heighten our hunches and intuition. The ancients wrote that self-undoing, meaning anything we do to undermine ourselves, also comes under the 12th house. It governs of rest, reaching the ending of long cycles, and the termination of any and all confinement, such as hospitals and stays, nursing home, residence, or even jail sentences. Now, I don't know why he used the word termination. It doesn't mean the end. Termination means the end. No, the 12th house can be confinement, hospital stays, any building, courtroom, nurses, churches, jail sentences. The 12th house is a lot like your 8th house, but it's just that it's more like in the 8th house you could be a pedophile. The 8th house you could do a lot of dirty shit and no, it kind of stays hidden. But in the 12th house you usually get caught and you're gonna do some jail time or whatever, or somebody gonna shoot you or whatever. The 12th house is the house of reckoning. It's all about karma and the 12th house. All your past life stuff is in the 12th house as well. This is the house we go to heal ourselves. But you're not going to heal yourselves if you don't reckon it. Most people suppress it, even in the 12th house. I deal with people. Like I said, that guy lied to me and lied to me and lied to me, which seems to be about 2 years. I got a friend of mine that never wanted to deal with it, didn't want to deal with it, and finally fell off. They're still in some fantasy world somewhere. But that's what's going to happen. And remember, the 12th house is ruled by Neptune, which is the deceiver. And the Neptune is going to deceive Pisces. And Pisces rules the 12th house. Neptune rules Pisces. So you have, and that's like I said, you get a lot of lies. When you go in these religious places and all that crap, you get a lot of lies, a lot of crap. Now, that's what I'm trying to tell people about higher knowledge. Because when you go to a doctor, he'll tell you the same stuff. Oh, this is wrong with you and that's wrong with you. And we need to do this and we need to do that. But when you're of a higher frequency, when you're of a higher vibration, when you're of a higher knowledge, you know you can heal yourself anyway. You know you can get healing. Not saying you turn him down if he has something that could help you, but you don't go in there and let people cut you all open, all that crazy stuff. Because there's a good chance if you do that, you may not come back out at all, or you're not gonna come out as the same person that went in. So you listen to what they say, but then you use your skills and your knowledge. That's why I said people waste too much time on third dimensional. Even your Bible tells you that you're in the world, but you shouldn't be of the world. So you have to make a choice. Yeah, I have to be here, but I have to live like the rest of these people. That's their business how they choose to live. I'm not living like that. And that's how you just got to believe in yourself and move forward. But most people are too weak. They get lonely too fast and all kind of crazy shit. And they keep undermining themselves. That's why they call it the house of undoing. So you're only going to heal yourself in the 12th house if you're honest about it. Today I had that going on in my brain, my forethoughts, my mind about people in denial. That's like you showing up for Alcoholics Anonymous. Everybody else stands up before you and does it the right way. You stand up and say, "Hi, my name is David, and I'm not an alcoholic." Now, my speech might be slurring right now, but it's not because I'm drunk. I know a couple of you guys saw me coming out the bar right before we came here, but that wasn't for me. I'm fine. No, I don't want or need anybody to check up on me or coach me or anything like that. Everything's A-okay. And then that same night, David on the way home crashes and kills himself and some other people. Under a DWI, driving while highly intoxicated. So that's self-denial. So if you're in the 12th house self-denial, you're not going to get no healing. In fact, it's just going to get worse. And any fool that's out here talking about, "Oh, I don't take in that information if it's negative. I only talk about positive." You stupid. Let me go back to this gentleman's 10th house. Libra is there. Why is Libra there? Because it's about both sides. The good and the bad. The male and the female. The thought and the emotions. You can't just take one side. If you take just one side, you're already telling the world you're in denial. And anybody that's going to these readers that refuse to read cards that come out in reverse position and all that bullshit, you're stupid. You guys are going to keep on disrespecting that realm, and then they're going to get you back. And that can be a very vindictive realm if you keep disrespecting it. This is why the God of the Bible can be very vindictive. Vengeance is mine. I'm going to take your sins to the 4th and 12th generations. To the 3rd and 4th generations. Very vindictive. But if you were smart, you wouldn't put yourself in a situation to get on his bad side or her bad side. So there will be no healing in the 12th house if you're not honest. You got to pull it out, deal with it, and reckon it. Reckon with it, no matter how you do it. The 12th house also rules self-sacrifice, because you are supposed to use your 12th house to serve others and teach others, but not let them run over top of you, not let them burn you out of your energy. The best thing you can do to help people is to help them to learn how to help themselves. Somebody's always looking for you to drive them around. Best thing you can teach them how to do is get their own vehicle. Because as long as somebody can use you, they're going to keep on using you until you're dead. And then they're going to go off and find some other sucker to pick up where you left off. Twelfth house can be inner suffering, limitations, and secret enemies. Also in your 7th house, it's open enemies. 12th house, secret enemies. And if you're helping other people in the 12th house, then it would be charity. Now, large animals are in the 12th house. Smaller animals are in the 6th house. And I'm pretty sure that the 8th house has animals too. But the 8th house has a lot of supernatural stuff that we don't understand. So the 12th house is pretty much ruled by Neptune, because Neptune rules Pisces. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces, but Neptune rules Pisces. And Neptune is the deceiver. Neptune deals with idealism. That's why I say when you're hurting and they knock on your door, the reason why you want to listen to them, because your life sucks, and life does suck. It really does. People don't want to deal with it. But the fact is, get the statistics. Look how many marriages fail in just the first 2 years and all kind of crazy shit. It does suck. There might be some good things with it, but it does suck. All you got to do, go to Yahoo News right now. Look at how many family members have killed each other. I just got one. A man killed his wife and tried to frame his daughter. What type of crazy shit is that? And I had the picture. I was going to show it to y'all. I decided not to because I'm too busy. And they had that man in court. They had him handcuffed behind his back. And they had cops standing all around him. And I said, this is beautiful. Finally, they're standing around a white guy in court like they do a black guy. Because, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, he walked in court with no handcuffs on. Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial murderer and homo, he walked in court with no ankle bracelets on. No thing. And he's got all these murdered bodies. But yeah, they'll have a little so-so, a dude from the hood. He coming in the courtroom chained down like he's like Ted Bundy or something. So you can tell it's a racial tone to it. All right, so I said I hope you listen up on the 12th house, because there's a reason why I'm taking all this time going here. Now we'll do it again. The 12th house, this is astrology.com. I seldom use astrology.com. So here we go. The 12th house is commonly referred to as the house of the unconscious. Now, your unconscious mind can help engender your success as well as assist you in coping with your failures. Success versus failure. Do you constantly deal with reality, deal with things going on that are hidden within you, or do you just continue to sweep it under the rug? So instead of calling it the house of unconscious, this person, astrology.com, wants to call it the house of reckoning. And that's what I call it. The house of reckoning. In the 12th house, you can review where you have been. And deciding on where you have been, you can decide where to go from there. The subconscious mind is the shadow side. The shadow play is slow and long, and often fraught with fear and pain. I just had somebody email me and say, hey, is it okay if when you do my reading, I said, hold up. First off, nowhere on planet Earth can you get somebody as thorough as me at the price I charge. The reason why I charge my price so low is because you're helping other people. You still don't understand how the universe works. The more you help other people, the universe will help you. So you're helping other people because everybody's going through similar stuff like you other people. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody's going to figure it out. That's just a stupid fear. You want to keep hiding. As long as you want to keep hiding and hiding, there's not going to be any change. You have to get to the point where, hi, my name is David. I'm an alcoholic. I'm not even going to lie. I'm probably drunk while I'm talking to you people. I need help. I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. I'm glad you have a team where people check on you. I really need help. If I don't get help, if you guys let me leave here tonight behind the wheel of my car, I'm probably going to get in a bad accident and kill myself and some other people. That's what you need. That's when the universe starts to help you, because you stop the lying, you stop the cowardness, you stop the weak shit, and you deal with it. In your 12th house, you're going to deal with sorrows, sufferings, the secrets you keep from yourselves even and other people. You're also going to deal with your past lives if you know how to do it. And also the 12th house is the house of karma. You meet up with the results of everything you did or done. That's why I said in the 12th house, that's the secrets. Don't nobody know what's going on in the 12th house. Oh, R. Kelly sings about pedophilia, but I don't think he's a pedophile. How could somebody that wrote such a beautiful song like I Believe I Can Fly, how could that guy be a pedophile? Oh, those Catholic priests, nah, they would never do anything like that. These are men of the cloth. These are men of God. See, all that stuff's going on in the 8th house is all hidden. But the 12th house is all coming out one way or another. Instead of singing, I believe I can fly, he'll be singing, I believe I'm going to be tried and convicted. Especially since you wrote a song talking about I did it. Dumbass. And then you come on TV talking about it. And they arrested his ass. Soon as that TV thing aired, they arrested him again because now you incriminated yourself. You should have believed. You should have kept your mouth shut. You have a right to remain silent. Let your lawyers talk for you, stupid. All right. So the 12th house, you got to learn how to pull your repression out and all those things. And they say in the 12th house, you can also be transformed or reborn. And that's funny because you could also be transformed and reborn in the 8th house. Your 12th house deals with restriction and feeling like you're bound or bounded. And that's why it's associated with jails, hospitals, institutes, asylum, and any space that inhibits freedom. But again, that's like a cult, like I keep trying to tell you. First, they knock on your door and they're acting like they're promising you true knowledge and freedom. But the more you really get in that, you will start to realize you are in a cult because they're trying to control everything. Oh, don't read anybody else's religious. Don't read anybody else's Bible. If you find one of our Watchtower or Awake magazines and it disagrees with what we're currently saying, you go by what we say. But when you read that magazine, it said, oh, you always go by what's in the magazine because it's from God. So you find a magazine, you say, okay, I'm going by this magazine because this is what God said. But then they go, well, this is what we say. And you go by what we said. So you know you're in a freaking cult. And it has nothing to do with God or the Bible, none of that crap. They're just lying. They're just using that shit to control you. So the 12th house can also be danger, secret enemies, and clandestine affairs. Because like I said, there's a lot of fooling around there in the 12th house, believe it or not. And it's funny because that's the churches and stuff like that, but that's what you get when you go in. These are people that are supposed to know about the God of the Bible, but they're still having affairs and everything. So like I see, you see what's going on in the Catholic Church. Even the Pope admitted that there's a lot of nuns that be having sex with the priests and stuff. Like a lot of them nuns get raped, but a lot of nuns willfully have relationships with them. So these are people that know of God and know of the Bible, but they still carry on demonic, animalistic, ungodly lifestyles. That's why I said once I woke up, I knew what I had to do. Anything like that had to be cut out. So if you use your 12th house the right way, it will be the house of positive transformations. You might be able to do this on your own. You might have to get professional assistance. But you just can't fear the 12th house. You should bring on the 12th house. Glad. Best way to confront Neptune's deceptions is to be real. And Jupiter used to rule Pisces, but not really. But sometimes when you do astrology, if you look at the chart, you can see that they are working together. You just gotta look at the chart. But Jupiter used to rule Pisces, but now Neptune is considered the ruler of Pisces. All right. Now you have the background of the 12th house. Like I said, it's a reason why I did that. Now, if you notice, the ruler of the 12th house is Pisces, but Neptune rules Pisces. So in your very next house, where Capricorn is, there's Neptune. So that's telling you right there that you're working on 2 different time frames, 2 different lives. Past life stuff and probably present life stuff in the 11th house, but also present life stuff and past life stuff and the 12th through, in your first house through Neptune. So now remember, Uranus comes to overturn your viewpoint on matters. And then Pluto helps transform you once Uranus overturns these matters, and that is moving you closer and closer to your purpose while you're here, and hopefully it'll lead to a union with your soulmate or your twin soul. So again, Saturn is in your 12th house to cause karma and also to put time limitations, because there's certain things that the universe don't want you to be a part of until certain times in your life. So Saturn comes with delays and obstacles and things like that. And that's also going to affect your serious relationship under Juno. But like I said, as you see, Juno's at 15 degrees, which is Capricorn energy, or your 10th house. Even your medium coeli is 15 degrees. Saturn in Sagittarius. And also we want 56, the number 56. Relationships, teamwork, expression of personal freedom, family coexistence, adventure. And Sagittarius is known for adventure. But it seems like that's only going to happen after this delay. After Uranus shocks you and wakes up your consciousness, and you are able to start growing with your twin. And ironically, your Juno has that 33. Now, we know 33 can be secret knowledge. It could be Freemasonry. Or if it's a female, it might be Eastern Star. Now, I'm not telling you to pursue these things or not. That's none of my business. But I am bringing it out. The number 33 is associated with family, harmony, creative self-expression, optimism, and idealism. So Saturn in Sagittarius. Now remember, Uranus and Saturn don't get along. So you say, well, why would they put both of them in the same house if they don't get along? Because like I'm telling you, you have that going on. Even Neptune in Capricorn. Capricorn is rigid. Leave it like it is. Neptune is saying, no, we should do this. We should do that. The world would be so much better if we did that. So what you're seeing is probably you and your soulmate. You and your twin. One is a little bit more rugged. Yeah, if you wanted to call it that, like Saturn would be like the masculine, trying to control shit. Trying to keep things one way. But the woman's like Uranus. Oh no, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's go this way with it. And Sagittarius, let's do the Saturn and Sagittarius. All right, I usually don't go to .net anymore. I don't like to deal with .net, but I might go there this time. And this one says AquarianAstrology.org. I think we'll go there. But this one looks good too. Dark Star Astrology. A lot of people might not want to go there but they give it good information. But some people just go by the title. But because they give good information, I'm going to Dark Star Astrology. All right, they're not really telling you what it means, so I don't want to deal with it. We need somebody that's going to tell you what it means. They're telling you Dark Star Astrology is telling you of an event that occurred in 2017. So let's try Aquarian Astrology. And it's going to be a natal placement, which is good. It's not a transit placement. It's a natal because we're dealing with a natal chart. Alrighty. Now Saturn. Guess what? This is going to blow your freak. Okay, this is still going to blow your freaking mind. I'm at AquarianAstrology.org, and they're telling you the many times Saturn was in Sagittarius. Well, it was in Sagittarius March 14. Guess what? It's March 14 now, but it was 1929. So that's like, what, 90 years ago? And just so y'all know, I keep seeing that number 919 all over the place. All right, Saturn and Sagittarius can deal with personal freedom, higher education, intuition, teaching, travel, the outdoors, mental and health, and animals. So your wounds, just like I told you, your karmic wounds have to do with religious principles, belief systems. That's why I said people hear me talk. The first thing they want to say is, oh, why is he talking about Jehovah's Witnesses? Why is he talking about religion? Because I'm going by what I see in the chart. That's why I'm not just babbling just to hear myself talk. It may sound that way, but when you learn how to think, when you learn how to read, when you learn how to take notes and think and use the brain God gave you, you'll begin to realize what I'm doing. That's why I said people get mad and upset, but you can't dumb down just because the rest of the world wants to be stupid. There has to be somebody that has the bravery to move forward. My role models are people like Jesus Christ, Lieutenant Columbo, two fictitious characters. I'm joking. Everybody knows Lieutenant Columbo is real. You got to have a sense of humor, people. You're too uptight. You want to kill anything that doesn't agree with your present way of thinking, but you're such hypocrites that within 2 days you'll change. And you won't even apologize for killing the guy. Welcome to 3D, Planet Earth. Planet Earth was my place of birth. That's the great Rakim, y'all. Hey, ho, hey, ho. That's Newark, New Jersey. I'm in Jersey. All right, let's get back to this read. The karmic wound, and I'm going to tell you, your Chiron, your wound is having trouble healing. It has to do with this. I tried to say that earlier in the reading. The karmic wounds indicated for those with Saturn and Sagittarius have to do with religious principles, belief systems. Also the search for truth, misuse of influence, hypocrisy, and the proper use of the sage archetype. So this person will want a coherent philosophy of life. So they say you can't let somebody else teach you these truths. You have to experience it yourself. So sometimes this person might have a feeling of lack of faith or optimism, but this could be based on the characteristics of their father. Perhaps he immigrated. He might have been unstable in some way, or he really didn't belong anywhere. He felt like he didn't belong. Maybe he had a mixed heritage or unusual religious beliefs, and these caused problems. Perhaps he renounced his religion altogether, or he renounced a religion altogether. It's likely that your relationship with your biological father and or your heavenly father have blocked you from experiencing the breath of life you desire. So when you have Saturn and Sagittarius, you become a very powerful knower and conveyor of the truth, but you're going to have inhibitions based on mistakes made in past lives or things used against you in childhood. They're saying that sometime in your life or in a past life, you may have encouraged others to take a leap of faith based on intuition, but it led to disaster. See, this walk that I'm on, and maybe some of y'all listening are on, it's not an easy walk, because as fake and as phony as this third world matrix is, this third dimensional matrix is, it still seems real, and especially to people who believe this crap. So therefore, you could be 100% right talking about intuition and astrology. You could be 100% right, but these people are still not going to believe you. And believe me, astrology is just like if you were a Christian and they tell you to believe in faith, because everything is not always going to be concrete. So the enemies are going to look at, they're going to say, hey, listen, this guy, he wants you to believe so and so is his twin flame. She don't even like him. She hates him. But they don't know that she's following you all over the building and staring at you with this look and won't let you go. But she just doesn't have the courage to say, I don't know what it is, but it is something about him that I want to connect with. She's not going to say that. Probably because she has a boyfriend and some other crap. So that's third dimensional. These people are going to stay in third dimension. They'll lie. They'll do whatever. But as you wake up, the more and more you wake up, the more and more you're going to want to get out of it. And I'm telling you, the more you wake up, the best thing you can do is get the hell out of third dimensional, because your twin is never going to stay with you until it happens. Otherwise, this is what y'all might get. Y'all going to keep on running and chasing and hurting each other. And then any sex you get is going to feel like it's the greatest thing in the world, but it's not. It's going to be short-lived. And I'd rather not do it at all if it's going to be going anyway. I don't want that feeling. That's why I said, when my situation started in 2014, I already knew, because I was already in a spiritual walk. I already know about temptation. I know about negative and positive energy. I know how what I called evil energy back then, it'll bring people to you when they shouldn't even know where you're at. But that's how much the negative energy wanted you to do something negative. And that still goes on today now. We just call it, like I said, we call it different things now. So they're encouraging you to be fully intuitive, to take those long leaps of faith. And they say that a lot of testing is required before you are able to properly assess the spirit, the powerful gift. But I tell you to just start walking. That's all you have to do. Like I said, what movie did the universe give you? Star Wars. Here's Luke Skywalker. Basically, he played a kid. Okay? Now, just like the Matrix, they choose some kid to go against these demonic, powerful people running the universe. All kind of black magic and all kind of crazy power they got. And they choose this kid to go up against somebody like Darth Vader, or even an old guy where Darth Vader got his power from, and they choose a kid that can't do the basic. He can't do the basic stuff that they do. Why is that? But what that kid needed to do was to take even small steps. And if the kid just showed any measure of faith, the power that was with him was greater than the power that was with Darth Vader and that old guy. But it was up to the kid to believe that and take those steps. And that's why I tell anybody listening, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Even if you fall, it's better than being afraid, being a coward, and not doing nothing. Or thinking with the wrong dick or whatever's going on. See, the 12th house is about sacrifice, like I said. So they said, when you're dealing with this, you're either going to balk at the starting gate. In other words, you doubt and don't believe it's true or real. Or you're going to rush to success. And I get that a lot. How people want it like this. They want it yesterday, And I'd be laughing. Especially if I know some of these people and they've been fucking around for the last 3 or 4 years. Now, all of a sudden, you want everybody to rush. When you've been falling. But I'm telling you, falling is a part of the walk for everybody. But you just got to be steady. You don't have to rush it. But you don't have to doubt it. It's nothing to doubt. That's why when people come here with that crap trying to doubt, you're out of your freaking mind. It's not my fault you choose this low-level third dimension above the greatness of the universe. Like dudes like me, we say universal citizenship. And that's what they tried to show you in these movies. Star Trek, in these movies, Star Trek, Star Wars, Total Recall. Because you see all these beings and creatures and animals from all over the world hanging out together. See, that's universal citizenship. And it does exist. But you have to believe it. So they're telling you don't rein in your horse just as it's starting to jump. Plus, that could hurt you. Give me a moment. And also, you're going to have to learn about your Saturn returns. Because you have a Saturn and Sagittarius. If you want to learn about Saturn returns, you can look it up in a search engine. Or just go to AquariusAstrology.org. Because you have to learn about Saturn return. And not just him, but anybody listening. Like I said, just give me a moment. I'm trying to do a couple of things. Now, as serious as this is, you still have to have a sense of humor. Because God is the biggest comedian you want to see. Because God can do anything. At any time. Now they say many rewards come later. At the end of the life, you have the greatest blessings of all, which is a rare one. It's called the blessing of Buddha. Now, what y'all guys don't know is I have people around me And they were all talking about the hawk. And I didn't find out, but another guy found out the hawk is connected to Heru. See, Heru, that's where you get the word hero from. Because we're all on a hero's journey, whether you believe it or not. And the hero's journey is the Fool card and the Tarot, the Tarot, the Tarot cards. So the universe is going to put you on this walk, but you have to learn how to follow spirit and not third dimensional. Because as long as you keep following third dimensional energy, you're going to keep selling out, making excuses, and making it difficult for somebody like me who's trying to help you. You got to get on that journey and stay on it. If you fall, you got to get up and keep walking it. So people are beginning to see the hawk, which represents the final stage of Heru. And then what else was it? And then they did Buddha. And I didn't even know Buddha was associated with twin flames. But you see on this channel, Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444, you see the two twins I'm talking about standing next to Buddha. So that's what they're trying to tell you. It's called the blessing of Buddha, knowing that you did what you came here to do. So that they say that's at the end of your journey. You get the blessing of Buddha. And that's why I talk the way I do. I'm not worrying about this shit no more. I just do what I'm supposed to. And I'm helping anybody who wants to be helped. But we're not going to do it third dimensional's way. And I get to the point now, if I'm going forward and somebody comes across my path with all that bullshit, it's a done deal. Immediately everything's canceled with that person and I move on. I don't have time for no dumbass. Either you want to learn and move forward, or you want to do this stupid low-level third-dimensional bullshit. You got to make that choice. I'm not going to make it for you. I'm going to make the choices best for me, and that's taking care of me, because that's how I got in a situation in the first place, taking care of everybody else and not taking care of me. That's a big mistake. That's why we're talking about the 12th house, and this is why I'm teaching you the 12th house as best I can, because this is the problem. Because people fall for the deception of religion when you should get to become one with the universe. If you become one with the universe, you will become one with the spirit. That's why they talk about Christ consciousness and Buddha consciousness and universal consciousness. So that's what you're trying to secure in the 12th house. Now this person is speaking and on YouTube.
This is Celestina, and today I'm going to...
I just want to give you all her channel because she's talking about Saturn and Sagittarius. And okay, now SW9, that's another special number, 913. Right now it has 913 views, and that's the name of her channel. So if you go to YouTube search engine and you type in Celestina, Saturn and Sagittarius, this video will come up, and that video goes to that website I was reading from. Now Sagittarius rules your 9th house. Now this is what you have to be very careful of with Sagittarius in the 12th house, because it does deal with law and courtrooms, and you might find yourself in trouble with higher law. See, the 9th house is higher law, so you got to be very careful. And since the home, the 6th house is in your 9th house, be careful. Don't bring nothing into your home environment and stuff like that. That could be serious legal problems. Because your 12th house is about incarceration. And you have Saturn there, which could represent the law, the authority. And then Uranus is there. It could be the upset. Because that's what happens when people don't think they're going to end up in jail. And then they are. Because that's a horrible feeling when you finally realize that you really are in the legal system. And you're being treated like a criminal. And you may not feel like you're a criminal. But that's not how the authority is going to prosecute you. Now that's higher laws or higher international courts. That's Sagittarius, ruler of the 9th house. It's also in-laws. So whoever are your in-laws, or if you got a person you might not be married to, but their family, astrologically speaking, are your in-laws. It's religion, philosophy, art, class. Like if you say that person has a lot of class, this is all Sagittarius in the energy. It's also long distance travel or foreign people. Could be your family, foreign in-laws, foreign speaking people. And again, I guess it's from your perspective. See, his perspective, I would be the foreigner. But over here, he would be the foreigner. So I guess that's from perspective. So we did Saturn and Sagittarius. The final one we're going to do, and then we're going to end this video, we're going to do Sagittarius in the 12th house. And I hope the woman at 8 and 12 houses.com has Now I don't think she does. So let me take it out of here. Since she doesn't have it, let me just make sure, look down a little further. So we're going to take that out of there. And we're just going to do Sagittarius in the 12th house and see who comes up. All right, Astrology Club. I don't know what just happened. Please don't tell me. Like a lot of stupid ass shit always happens with this. It's like if you put your closer to, a lot of times if you put your closer too close to the whatever, it'll just take out everything. Like take out the whole browser and shit. So everything's gone because of that bullshit. Trying to get out of here, man. It's been over 3 hours. It should be silly shit. Part of Murphy's Law, the tricks of the universe, I call it. All right. So when that happens, I like to try to clear everything out before I open the browser back up. So I open it up just enough to clear out everything. Then I have to run a whatever, CC cleaner or whatever. So give me a little bit. And I don't feel like pausing nothing or anything like that. Don't worry, it's already at 17%. It's cleaning out the recyclable bin. That's why it's taking so long. Because I had a lot of stuff in the recyclable bin. Now it's just about done. And I can open up the browser shortly. All right. And then while I'm opening up the browser, I also clean out the registry. All right. I'm just waiting for this, whatever I logged in. Now we'll do it again. Sagittarius in the 12th house. And it's funny because none of these people really want to. It's a few YouTube videos on it, but none of these websites really want to deal with it except for Astrology.club. AstrologyClub.org, and I know it's not going to give me what I'm looking for. I'm looking for just a deeper meaning because they're going to be talking about journeys and travel and all that shit. All right, so this is called the Trusted Psychic Medium, and this is pretty much more what I'm looking for. It doesn't say Sagittarius in the 12th house. It says the 12th house in astrology, but they are talking about the subconscious mind and everything. And when I look down with it, and they're talking about karma too. So when I look down with it, it just says Sagittarius, so I'm going to look at it and just see what it says. All right. And probably why that browser did that, I keep telling you all about evil energy. Because whenever I have information that can benefit people, I've noticed that they start having a problem with the browsers. Because as crazy as it is, it could take just a few words that'll totally transform a person. Says Sagittarius, the 12th house. On the outside, you're the virtue of hard work to the point of seeming bitter at times. With Sagittarius in your 12th house, you are driven by a deep, unshakable subconscious belief in the ultimate fairness of life. You believe in hard work not because you think that life is suffering, but because you genuinely believe that working on something leads to success. You are also a lot more willing to put faith in a higher power than you would readily admit. All right. They're not really telling you a whole lot, like I said. All right, we know what that 12th house is about. Let's just do Sagittarius. All right, we're going to call it the 9th house because Sagittarius rules the 9th house of astrology. They call it the house of philosophy. And Sagittarius is going to search for meaning. All right, what I'm going to do, I just thought about it. I'm going to see Terry Nassan because she'd be the best person to explain the 9th house. Here we go. Terry Knott sign the 9th house. And she does not disappoint. She gave a lot of information. Now I just got to do something because I really want to read it. But it's kind of small. They're not going to let me do it. So I got to figure out a different way. Which I'm about to do right now. All right, here we go. So the 9th house ruled by planet Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So Sagittarius rules the 9th house, and that is ruled by Jupiter. Now, okay, so again, Jupiter is expansive and very zestful. And this is seen in the 9th house. You're going to have an interest in foreign travel in the 9th house. The desire to know and experience other cultures, religious beliefs, or spiritualities. Person might be inquisitive. And again, this may be one of the main reasons why they put Sagittarius in your 12th house. Because I know for a fact Sagittarius and Pisces work together good in the 12th house. But it helps you develop Christ consciousness. But again, see, the answers will be spirit. No human could help you. Most humans are on some third dimensional bullshit. This is higher than third dimension. That's why if you really was following Jesus Christ, the people wouldn't be caught up in this bullshit they on. This is how you know you're dealing with fake Christianity. These people still want the big houses, the big cars. Everything he said don't do, they're doing everything he said don't do. Even he said don't be trying to sell stuff in churches and stuff. That's all you see. Like I said, it's a guy out here on YouTube. That's all he does. He makes a whole lot of money off the name of Jesus Christ. So that's why you wouldn't necessarily go to humans for these answers. She's saying that the ninth house can also deal with your educational background, how far you got through college. And she said you're going to see this through either the ninth house or Sagittarius' ruler. She said in any form of professional licensing is in the ninth house. And again, these are reasons why the ninth house is in the 12th house, because like I keep trying to tell you. Earlier when we first started, I was telling you all about priests and Taurus and all that. The ninth house rules all aspects of the law, official sanctions, ceremonies, laws, and mandates, legalities, and the inner working of the law and government. These are all cosmic ninth house matters. But again, when you see that, that's why I said your 12th house may involve you being in some type of legal situation. You and your twin, or both of y'all, or one or the other. The third house rules thinking, influencing others on a one-to-one basis. The ninth house rules your influence on the larger community or large scale. Your beliefs, principles, religious outlook, and personal philosophies and ethics are found in this sector of your chart, the ninth house. But again, your 12th house is a lot like your ninth house because of Sagittarius in your 12th. Karma, fate, destiny, and your view of God are the ninth house matters. Your ability to influence groups of people through writing and publishing are all ruled by the ninth house. Good fortune and your ability to draw good fortune to yourself through positive thinking and attitude are ruled by this house of the zodiac as well. Any planets in a house strengthen or weaken it, making it more or less significant according to your birthday and your particular natal chart. The ninth house can be the realm of abstract mind, intuition, inspiration, dreams, visions, your reaction and philosophy, success, religion. And also a sense of responsibility to your relatives by blood or in-law. And she changed that because back in the day she used to say just in-laws. Now she's saying any relative. So this could also include grandchildren, especially those of his brother and his sister-in-law. The probability of distant travel, timing, nature, and results. Long-range advertising, worldwide contacts, mental adjustments to racial ideas, ideals, and collective needs. With an author, his works from the standpoint of publication. In mundane astrology, long-distance passenger and freight transportation, communications, buy or oversee air and land, religion and the clergy, judges and courts of law. See, once again, you see the clergy being associated with law, just like I told y'all when I first started this. The education classes, educated classes, universities and institutes of higher learning, their administrative and teaching personality or personnel, philosophical and scientific societies, institutions, and publications, all facilities designed to meet the public demand in education, religion, transportation, communication. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, immigration as distinguished from immigration, weather conditions along the coast, particularly incoming storms in the process of formation, the origin of all disturbances. And don't forget, you also got Uranus in this same house. So you may actually have like weather disaster weather or storms or electrical storms or havoc with electricity or technology. Incoming storms, the origin of all disturbances, a government official such as the Secretary of State, advertising department, long distance communication, results of a mail order campaign, educational institutes, publications, professional consultants, publicity, public relations, officials extinguished from their departments. So the third house will be things that are going about because of your actions and things, but the ninth house is the authority, bigger than you. And in the ninth house, it may have a public appeal, where in the third house, it's usually local. And the ninth house is a wider appeal. So all that's going on in your 12th house. But the point is to get you to rely on, like I said, the universe, to rely on spirit, to rely on Christ consciousness, and not to rely on a person or all that. And the implication is when you get that, you'll probably have a better relationship with your soulmate. That star right there is Juno. Serious relationship, but it still looks like it's maybe bound by Capricornian energy, or which is materialism on a tarot card 15, and even a connection in Baphomet. And that's why it's kind of funny when you see that 33 degrees, because that's what you have with a lot of those people. When they took that oath, they're more bound to this world and Baphomet than they are to, say, the spirit. And if you were to read Ezekiel chapter 8, you would see those priests that they had sold out. So they were no longer serving the spirit, the God, the spirit. They were serving all kind of stuff, beast and all kind of stuff. And you see Jesus expose them in Matthew 23, calling them offsprings of vipers and things like serpents and stuff like that. So that does conclude this read. Once again, feel free to contact anything. We do anything supernatural, paranormal, not just natal charts. We have stuff on the channel, Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. Any special offers, you can always look in the description box, and you can also contact, because the email address is in the description box. You can also contact for any other questions. Make sure you have the most recent services offered and price list as well. It's been a pleasure. God bless.